ordinances. We're now going to move on to ordinance, which is also a second reading regulating open burning. I'll just make a few comments about this to start off with. Minus an ordinance, okay, as far as open burning is concerned, we, over the past at least 4 years, have had to follow Miami Township's unincorporated rules. So when they did the codification, they found out, and I always thought we had an ordinance to govern that, but we don't. So the end result is that we needed to figure that all out, and in so doing, it allows us to exercise authority that Miami Township doesn't have the authority to do, because they have to follow the state fire marshal, and most of the year there's a ban on doing any type of open burning. So if you were doing, for example, your backyard fire pits and that, and it was during the time, Miami Township couldn't come in here and shut that down. Okay, with this ordinance in place, it's our ordinance. We have the right as a home rule village, which we have not been operating as. We should be operating as a home rule village. We use ordinances that meet the standard of the Ohio Revised Code, and then we have the ability to go beyond that as long as we're not violating law. So this ordinance goes beyond the ORC and provides our citizens what we believe they want to be able to do to enjoy their property. So I will stop there. Justin, you did the vast majority of work on this. Please fill in the gaps that I missed.
Covered most of it. Just to reiterate some talking points from last time, like this is in accordance with Ohio EPA standards and the Ohio Fire Code and the Ohio Revised Code. So it maintains compliance with all those entities, and it really just memorializes what we will allow and what we won't allow in the village for open burning. So we'll allow recreational fires as long as that fire doesn't exceed 5 feet in diameter and 3 feet in height. That's the flame. And it allows for the burning of only clean, dry, seasoned wood, natural gas, or equivalent clean fuel. So to that point, we had a question about burning brush in your fireplace. And that would qualify as equivalent clean fuel of seasoned wood, seasoned dry wood, correct? It also allows for, portable outdoor fireplaces, grills. What we're trying to prevent here is people from burning tires or having bonfires next to their neighbor's house. Fires that could easily spread and become out of control or put off toxic gases that would be a health and safety concern. So we're not looking to stop your fire pit on an evening like tonight. Hopefully we get more of them, but to prevent bonfires and noxious gases.
If I can ask the residents to comment, because I think you guys have had some rather large bonfires. Like, you want to comment?
Well, when I was on the fire department for 26 years, we would get calls periodically from neighbors saying they got a bonfire going, and you get there and they're sitting around their campfire with water source and food source. So they were having just a good time, and I tell them that the ORC said you can have it as long as you have that stipulation. If it gets above 5 foot, because sometimes it can be 20 foot high, and you can't do that. And we have our police officers silent. If they were just piling junk and burning, like you say, tires and stuff, but 99% of the time it was people out there enjoying a campfire behind their home. So
I think most of our residents would like to be able to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
However, I think across the street from you for a period of years, you had rather huge bonfires that
that wasn't a recreational deal there. They burnt everything and anything. So I just, that's a good ordinance, and at least it gives you a foothold to say, hey, this is the ordinance, you're violating the ordinance. Look your computer or go down and read that, you'll see what it said. And most people were very, very, polite and everything, and even the ones that we had to put out, because we had to put a bunch of them out, because people were, burning trash and all that stuff, so it's a very good ordinance.
Thank you, Lucky, I appreciate that. One thing I want to add is there is a permit application process if you're going to exceed those limits. And so there's not many parcels in Cleves that this may apply to, but if you did have a larger plot of land and you wanted to have summer party and maybe have a larger fire, bonfire type, we're not saying no, never. We're just saying that you'll have to apply for a special permit. It'll go through, the administrative office here, and we'll coordinate with the fire department as long as you can do it safely and it's not going to put a risk on your neighbors or, for the spread out of control. We'll consider it and we can approve it on a case by case basis.
So will there be guidelines as to how many feet away you are from a home or what is that special permit looking at?
So we won't get involved in how far it has to be away. That would be fire department's discretion, but what we have outlined in here is the application will include the purpose to burn, the location, date, time, type and quantity of materials to be burned, and the description of safety measures and extinguishing equipment on site.
Okay, but the sole reason we're restricting this is for safety. So I just would want to make sure that you said this won't apply to a lot of village residents, and I'm assuming you said that because we don't have yards big enough. So that's what made me assume that you were looking at X amount of feet away from your neighbor or from, woods.
Right, I mean, when it comes to the permit, it's gonna be a case by case basis. If you have an acre of land, and you wanna have something that exceeds 5 foot by 3 feet, maybe it's 10 foot by 10 feet, more of a traditional bonfire, we're not saying that no, you can never do that. We're just saying our ordinance isn't going to allow for that. If you want to have something outside the threshold we set, you need to, file a permit. We'll check it. We'll coordinate with the fire department. We'll have schedule a meeting,
Okay.
see when it's going to be, what your purpose for this is, and are you able to extinguish it if you needed to.
Okay, that's fine.
And that's similar to what we dealt with up on Morgan Street, where the resident called me and wanted us to get permission for treated lumber. Okay, well, they had plenty of room to do it, but it's in violation of EPA regulations, so we told them no.
Okay, I just was clarifying that.
When they were putting in Aspen Wood, me house, pushing down, and sliding. Well, that's the third time we got called up there. We told them, we said, hey, you have to have somebody there 24 hours that you're gonna burn that, or you'll be cited. He pushed everything in North Bend and said, no problem. And I talked to the North Bend firemen and they hated it, because they got all the calls then, but yeah, he suffered all in North Bend.
Just to clarify, so we were talking about what you could burn. We're talking about, you said, brush or suitable wood in the fire. This does not include things like paper, cardboard, those kind of trash type items. Is that correct?
No, anything that would put off a toxic, noxious gas would be
It was interesting, just yesterday I was speaking with a resident, he has a complaint, a neighbor of his, they were burning the rubber off the wire. And I guess the fumes drifted over to his house and into the house, and he seemed to think they were maybe toxic.
They are, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
He called the township fire department. I guess they spoke with him several times. they weren't gonna do anything. So I guess the point is that this resolution, all this fits together through ordinances, town marshal, this fire business, they have to mesh together. You need all of them. You can't not have a marshal have the ordinances for different uses.
And dealing with my past experience in the trade I'm in, when you go to burn wire, a perfect example is it's PVC coated wire. If you take a small, this is through the EPA, if you take a 1 foot piece of 1/2 inch PVC and you put it in a 10-foot room, 10 by 10 room, you open that door, take one breath, you're dead. That is how toxic the insulation on wire is. So it's when you're talking about burning wire, that is very, very serious toxic stuff and can literally kill you in a split second.
Thank you very much. Any other comments?
I'll just say to your point, Mr. Barney, this is one of those ordinances where we found a gap. We're trying to close the gaps each meeting. So without having 10-hour-long meetings, we're trying to address these gaps. We're trying to, they're all important, but how urgent are they? So,
Right.
Important, urgent metric and get them on here, the more urgent ones sooner.
With the fall
We'll continue to do this.
Or even, we've had drought scenarios where, you see some cities, towns, municipalities will put in a drought situation where you can't burn during a period of time. So those were other things we were thinking about too for safety purposes, because sparks fly off and there's a lot of trees and brush around here. You catch someone else's property on fire by accident. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay, the next one